Good day, students. Ms. Thomas here again, continuing with the topic consumer affairs. Today, we're going to talk about the strategies to deal with the effects of devaluation and inflation on the consumer. That is on me and you. What does devaluation and inflation do to me and you? What effect does it have on me and you? But first, we must discuss what is devaluation and inflation. Devaluation is an official reduction in the exchange value of a currency by lowering its value relative to the currencies of other countries. If you see me looking this way, it's because I have some notes and I'm just referring to those notes. Now, every currency has a value. Your currency has a value. Your Jamaican dollar has a value. Barbadian dollar has a value. Trinidadian dollar has a value. Eastern Caribbean dollars have value. That value could be lowered or it could be raised as compared to another country. So some countries' dollar or currencies have more value than others. Take, for example, Trinidad. The value of our dollar as compared to the US dollar is approximately 6.76 to 6.90 something cents. $6.90 something cents to purchase one US dollar. If our money is devalued to probably 8 of our dollars to purchase one US dollars, that process there is called devaluation, where they lessen the value of the TT dollar, the Trinidad and Tobago dollar. There are some countries that you pay as much as $100 for one US dollar. That means their money is devalued. If we take probably four TT dollars to buy one US dollar, that means our value would have raised. The value of our TT dollar would have raised. But right now it is between 6.70 something to 6.90 something cents, $6.90 something cents to purchase one US dollar. If it is devalued, that means it will go higher than 6.90 something. It could go to 7, it could go to 8, it could go to 9. That's when our dollar is devalued. So that means we will have to take more of our dollars to purchase the same items that we would have purchased before. So making things more expensive for us. Inflation is the persistent rise in the prices and cost of goods and services. We could see all around us that goods and services, the prices of goods and services are rising monthly, consistently. So devaluation, again, is the reduction in the value of our dollar. And inflation, of course, is the persistent rise in prices of goods and services. So let us talk about what results from devaluation and inflation. What happens? What effect does it have on us? Again, we would have higher prices for both imported and locally produced goods and services. Because the Caribbean is generally an area in the world that imports a lot of products, we normally pay US dollars mainly to get those products because we're importing it. We have to purchase it from suppliers outside of our country. And if our dollar is devalued, we'll have to put out more to get the same thing that we would have paid less for. So of course, those higher prices that importers pay for goods and services, they will pass it down to the consumer, you and I, therefore raising the prices of everything. So if they're paying more for goods and services to import it into the country, they will pass that down to us. So in effect, we will be paying more for something that you would have paid less for probably a month or two ago. And because we're paying more, we would have reduced purchasing power. Because prices are increasing, you as a consumer would think twice about purchasing that same item at such an expensive rate. You will say, you know what, I would do without it. So your purchasing power is being eroded when our dollar is devalued. And of course, when there's an increase in price, when there's inflation, when there's increase in prices of goods and services. Another effect is wage freeze. It makes it a wage freeze, say, especially when the government says, we cannot increase wages. It's impossible. The economy is so tight that we can't increase wages. So persons are stuck with their salary while goods and services are increasing in prices. So they have the same salary from years ago, and the prices of goods are still keep increasing. So of course, it makes it difficult for consumers to continue to buy goods and services. This usually affects customers' standard of living. I think that you will be able to understand what if you have to continue doing without. Many times we cut back on food, we cut back on entertainment, we cut back on a lot of things because things are just so expensive. Inflation is having that effect on us. And the last result we have here of devaluation and inflation is reduced local demand for goods and services, which negatively affects economic activity and forces businesses to lay off staff, thus promoting and increasing unemployment. What we're saying here is when people are not purchasing as much, suppliers, of course, would have to produce less. And if they're not producing as much, they would run into loss. And when they start running into loss, they would cut staff. And of course, that increases unemployment. So when there's a rise in prices of things, it reduces economic activity. People don't want to spend as much. And when people not spending, it has a ripple effect on the suppliers and producers, where they end up starting to lay off staff. And again, it contributes to unemployment. So it is a trickle-down ripple effect that devaluation and inflation has on all of us. Now, there are some strategies to deal with devaluation and inflation. Some things you can do to deal with this problem is home gardening. You can produce some of your food items so you won't have to purchase everything. You could explore self-employment, such as, mowing lawns, cutting grass, babysitting. You could see what need there is in your community and try to satisfy that need. That helps with the effects of devaluation and inflation by providing some kind of self-employment to yourself. It helps a bit instead of just probably, depending on one stream of income. You could probably do something on the side, and that helps with, the effects of devaluation and inflation. You can reduce expenditure. Last few videos we spoke about needs and wants. You can examine your needs and reduce your wants. So there are many things that we want. We can reduce those. And of course, that will help us deal with the effects of devaluation and inflation, where we concentrate and prioritize our needs over our wants. And of course, the last one we'll talk about is practicing recycling and conserving. In the household, again, we spoke about this in the last video. In the household, you can recycle and conserve your possessions. And of course, that will help deal with, again, the effects of devaluation and inflation. So that will be it for today. We just discussed some of the results of devaluation and inflation, and some strategies you could use to help alleviate the effects of the effects of devaluation and inflation. So that will be it for today, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.